This old guy DIY video has to do with installing a DIY chute blocker made from a plastic truck bed toolbox, and also adding Gator blades to this John Deere X340 to make it a cost-effective mulcher. So if you'd like to see everything I did to make it happen, please watch the rest of the video. A hot chick that I know enjoys cutting grass, and she said that she would prefer to have a mulcher. She was looking at the mulching kit from John Deere, and it's about 350 bucks. She asked for my opinion. I read a little bit online, particularly in the lawn care forums, and a lot of guys said that just blocking the chute and running Gator blades does as nice a job as a mulching kit. So I suggested the more cost-effective option to her first. So my challenge for today is to remove the chute cover. I cut a couple pieces of plastic out of a toolbox for a pickup truck that I had picked up at an auction for $5. As I was cutting it into chunks to dispose of it yesterday, I saw the profile here. I thought, hey, that might fit pretty well. So I'm going to remove these couple of bolts. I'm going to take the chute off and then see if one of these two pieces of plastic will conform to that angle and possibly work as a nice chute blocker for me. Rather than just pulling the pin and taking the deflector off, I've decided to take these two bolts out because I want to use those two holes for mounting the chute blocker that I'm making. When I had this chunk of truck toolbox cut roughly to shape, I put the first bolt in and I pulled it tight. I tightened that bolt down. What I plan to do is there's a little hole in this ear here, so I'll pull this down tight and just run a bolt in there. And right now I'll place the second bolt in the pre-existing hole, so it should allow me to pull this thing down tightly and easily. It takes a 5/16 hole for the existing deck bolt that was holding that deflector on. And it's a 13mm socket for that little nut. On this particular deck, there's an existing 1/4 inch hole here. So I'm just going to take a 2.5 inch bolt. I'll pull that thing down, put a washer on this outside, and that should close it in right against the front edge of that deck. On the back of the deck, there's no pre-existing hole. So I'm just going to drill a 1/4 inch hole right here, and then I'll be able to come through that plastic and pull it in tight. When I look at this thing from beneath, there's one little pocket right here where the air can blow through. So I'm going to take the grinder and cut a little tab here. And I'm going to take a second bolt and attach it to the deck, trying to pull it in and make it a little more airtight. The plastic piece I put on there is a little taller than the deck. So I just took a level and scratched a line on the plastic here. I thought I'd take 2 cuts, so I just did this first part. Now I'll cut the second one out. I ended up with 3 bolts here in the back. I'll show you what it looks like from beneath. It appears to be blocked up pretty tight. Now I'll throw the new blades on it and ask her to give it a try. These are the Gator blades I'm installing. Thanks to Amazon, half the price of the local guys. This is what the old blade looks like versus that Gator blade, where some guys online said the things didn't fit their spindles very well. On this X340 with a 54-inch deck, it's fitting that spindle perfectly. Now the deck has the Gator blades, has this little stopper, ready to set her up to mulch. This is what the finished chute blocker looks like. I ended up putting 3 bolts there in the back. I used the 2 old existing bolt holes in the top, just one in the front. I just put the Gator blades in, so it should be good to go. Thank you for watching.